This is the Evoho, I wrote it and I can't say it, Evoho 1, which last stream flew by Eve and then flew by Moho. We have just left Moho's sphere of influence. You can see Moho here in the background. And the plan for today was originally I was going to build something and then fly by Duna to satisfy this planetary flybys contract, which was actually, it's not a contract as much as it's a strategy to fly by 3 different planets. I thought that was going to be simple enough, except in the comments very shortly after the stream, somebody posted, don't you have to have the same vessel? And if you look here, it's even in all caps here, with the same vessel. It's got to be a single vessel to fly by 3 different planets. And this was never built with that in mind. It flew by 2, and I got to fly by a 3rd. So I'm left with kind of a dilemma. Either one, somehow I get this thing to a 3rd planet. It has now 717 meters per second left, and you can see we are just outside of Moho's sphere of influence. Or I build something else and use it to fly by 3 different planets. I thought what would be the more fun thing to do is to see, even though it was never part of the mission, and even though this thing's not designed for it, I want to see if I can get this thing with the Delta V it's got left to Duna. If I fail at that, what I'll have to do is build something that's capable of doing 3 flybys. And I don't think, by the way, Eve, Moho, Duna is the economical way to do it at all. What would seem the easiest thing to do is to do Eve, Duna, and then Joule. Eve is a great starting point for sort of flyby gravity assist types of thing, but to make your way outwards, not to go inwards only to go outwards again, that is not the efficient way to go. So we're going to try and see if with what I got left, if I can get this thing out to Duna. I think it's doable. It might take some game time. We'll do a lot of time warping. We're going to advance a lot in the years. This thing's already day 405 in its mission. But, and that's the other thing that might come in, because I have Kerbalism in play. There is part failures. Parts do wear out. Engines can fail. Probe bodies can fail. Solar panels can fail. So if critical components start to fail, that will end this mission pretty quickly. But I want to at least give it a try, and if that fails, I'll build something else. On the good news front, just to show you, if I go over here to messages, they're at the top, of course, is that contract here complete. I did finish the contract to barnstorm the island airfield hangars. That got completed. I did that after the stream on Monday. In fact, I did it right after the stream on Monday because it was bugging me. All I did was increase the authority limiter on the pitch controls, and then I was able to clear that hill. That was the problem that I was crashing into all the time. So, that got cleared off. I also got here some milestones, initiating flybys from Moho. You can see the cash boost that I'm getting. That's because of the probe frenzy strategy, and that's also for barnstorming the island airfield. And you might also be wondering, why don't you just cancel this dumb flyby thing and go ahead and do something else? Well, because if you look at the penalty is 1,750,000 Kerbucks and 500 reputation if I cancel this. So we're not going to cancel this. That is not going to be in the card. So anyway, let's see if we can not get this thing to Duna. That is going to be the plan. And let's turn off that communication line. There we go. Okay, so here we are. We have just left Duna's SOI. Now there are some good news things. Like, we are in this orbit that, just by luck, the apoapsis is very close. It's not at Eve, despite what this looks like, but it's very close to Eve's orbit, and our inclination is not terrible. That is really lucky, because I paid no attention as to how I was flying by Moho, because I had no intention of ever coming back to this thing. So the fact that it came into an orbit that is that I could work with is really lucky. I could have came into any kind of an orbit here, and that might have ended this idea right away. So the plan is going to be to try and get another encounter with Eve, use Eve to boost or slingshot the orbit out to Duna's the altitude of Duna's orbit, and try and get an encounter with Duna. If I can't get this out towards Duna's orbit, the goal is going to be to try and get it by Kerbin's orbit and use Kerbin's gravity to slingshot it out to Duna's orbit. So we're going to kind of play kind of a planetary hopscotch using the planets to gravity assist and increase this orbit and get ourselves out there. And in fact, really, you could play this kind of gravity hopscotch all the way out through the entire system if you wanted to, but I'm going to be happy just with the getting to Duna and calling this contract done. So here's how we're going to do this. Let's actually, you know what I'm going to do? I've been meaning to do, I don't like the Navball in the middle here. I'm going to move the Navball right now. I'm going to get into my settings. This is such an easy thing to do, and I keep forgetting to do it. And then I say, oh, I got to do that before the next stream, and then I always forget. Scrolling down here, there is here, Navball position left, right. I way prefer it way over there. There we go. Now it's out of the way. Okay, now we'll keep going. So you can see here that the blue orbit, our orbit, is going a little bit below Eve's orbit. Here and here's the two places where it comes really close to Eve's orbit. What I need to do, first of all, is get it to come in contact with Eve's orbit. Let's select Eve as a target. Start with that. There we go. And then one thing you can do is actually, we're coming around this way, is to put a maneuver right here at the descending node and try and match planes. And then you'll be hitting at both points, and that will work. But it's the more expensive thing to do. I only need to match at one of them. I can use Eve's gravity to fix any kind of inclination issues in the future. And with a little bit of playing around I've already done, I found out that it's easier for me to get an encounter here than here. And you'll see in a moment how I knew that. So what I want to do is bring this part of the orbit northwards. So I'm just going to pull up on there. And then what I need to, I'm going to play around with the timing, and you can see this equatorial ascending and descending node. Basically what I need to do is get one of them to come right here. Let's go a little bit more northwards. This, by the way, should be the more expensive burn of this whole process. I think it's going to be easier to do it with the ascending node. Yeah, because when I go northwards, that one wants to come that way. There we go. Coming in close. In fact, I might be able to, let's switch over to the little gizmo thing. So basically, I just want this ascending node right here where the two orbits cross. And I want to make this burn as low as I can. That looks about right there. Okay, so that is 274 of my 717 meters per second left, but with luck, that will be the biggest burn I have to do. Next, I want to fish for an encounter right here where these two orbits cross. So I'm going to put a maneuver node here. And you can see when I put it there, there's one of my close encounter indicators. There's the other one there. Now I could adjust this burn to get these two together. That's going to be expensive. What I'm going to need to do is do some orbits until we can get these as close as we can. And this is the trick I have for seeing how many orbits you got to do. I'm not putting any, I didn't put any delta V into that second burn. Instead, I created a third burn that's just out past this second burn. And with that one, I'm going to start hopping ahead orbits. And what I want people to notice as I do that, there it goes, watch the close encounter indicators, and I'm going to hop ahead orbits until they come pretty close together. There we go. There they are. They're pretty close together. Okay. Now, I could now adjust this third maneuver to try and get these two to be an encounter. But what's cheaper is to actually go back to that second maneuver, which remember is earlier in time, and start playing with its encounter. And what I want to play with is just the prograde, retrograde part of this. And this shouldn't be too expensive. So yeah, if I add a little bit of prograde, I'm increasing the period of my burn and bringing those closer together. There we go. So I got an encounter, and this second one, I can take a look at the numbers here. It's only 22 meters per second so far. Unfortunately, it is a little bit of a ways in the future, this encounter. But that's the way it's going to work. Where is Eve? We want to focus on Eve. Focus. Everything's too close together here. There we go. Focus view on Eve. Come in here. Okay. And so we can use maneuver number 2 using prograde and retrograde and really small adjustments to bring that inwards. So that's pretty good. And last time, I'm hitting it now. I'm definitely not going to do that. Last time, I kind of was a little too lackadaisical with my gravity assist because I knew I had lots of delta V, so I was kind of just shooting from the hip a little bit too much. This time I'm being a little bit more purposeful and really thinking about what it is that I'm doing. The other thing I want to do is I want to keep my encounter pretty close to being in the plane of Eve's orbit. I don't want to go slinging off on some inclined one, and we're going to adjust that piece of it using the first maneuver. Remember, this is the first one I put way out here, which adjusts inclination, and that one, again, it should be very, well, who knows, this one might be more. Oh, it's less than I would have guessed. You know what, I think I might just do one of these right now. Let's just push this that way. Actually, maybe the timing of this would be better. Push the time up. Whoa, come back. Maneuver 1. That's what we're playing with. Okay, I'm getting more. Oh, this is what I want. This is what I want. Yep. Yep. So it's the timing of it that made a big difference there. See, I want to have this trajectory coming in and coming out pretty close to Eve's orbital plane. Let's try and see if I can wiggle out of this a little bit. Oh, that's... Actually, if I go to maneuver number 3... No, number 2 now. Just a little retrograde. There we go. Oh, that was way too much. I think I'm going to need to sort of play with this as we get... I think I'd be best served right now not fiddling with this too much, but doing that first burn. I think that first burn is pretty close to what I need. But if we take a look, does it actually show me my projected path? Oh, I'm on the wrong side of... silly. I gotta pay attention to which side of Eve. Eve spins around in this direction. You want to enter and leave going prograde around Eve if you want an assist. And I think we are... I don't think it's just showing us our projected path. I'm not convinced it is. Oh, maybe it is. Sorry, I'm going to let me just play a little bit more. Oh, it is. Yeah. I want that apoapsis out towards Duna. See that? Now I'm inside Eve. So this is going to take a little bit. So this is coming around Eve, boosting the orbit, not quite to Duna. We'll see. Again, I might need to do an encounter with Kerbin to get out to Duna. We'll see how it goes. But right now, this is good so far. I think we're good enough to do ourselves this first burn, which is coming up in 70 days. We'll do that right now. Let's turn this to here. Now, actually, another thing I was just realizing as well. Because this probe was never meant to go as far away from Kerbin as Duna is, it might run into problems. One of the problems might be communication. If you might recall, when I went to Duna before, I used 2 of these DTS-M1s, but this one only has 2. It should be okay. What is a bigger issue will be electricity. As we move further and further away from the sun, these solar panels are going to become less and less efficient. You might recall that when I went to Duna, I actually used deployable solar panels, not these OxSat ones. So managing electricity might become an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into here and I'm going to turn off all of these science experiments because they are all using electricity. I'm also... Is there anything else I can turn off? No, that's probably pretty good for now. Because I want to, if we can afford to turn some of these on when we get there, if we get there, then I will. But I think managing electricity might be an issue. Okay, so I do have KOS, thankfully. That is going to be a tool at my disposal. Okay, let's get out to that first maneuver. So I'm going to, instead of watching it from the sun, we'll watch it from here. So again, we are, here we are. We got to get to this maneuver. So we're going to come around the back side of the sun here. Here we go. Oh, let's put our focus back on our probe itself. Oh, my seismic scan from Kerbin's desert is done. I moved my little rover out to the desert. Okay, we are there. Okay, we're going to run. How's this thrust? Thrust is very low. I don't like that. Really? It's going to take that long? No, why did it not allow me to do that? Come on. There we go. 12-second burn. That makes way more sense. Okay. Run that X-Man script. And we're going to do, it's got to be a positive normal burn, so it's flipping all the way around. Doing a little bit of reorientation there. And just again to remind people what the purpose of this burn, because of all these burns, I know, and I'm going to be jumping between burns, gets confusing. The purpose of this burn is to take this blue orbit and just bring it upwards so it will be intersecting with Eve's orbit over here. That's the purpose of this burn. So let's get back to here. Let's time warp to the burn. All right. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1, and go. And I'm hoping this is going to be the biggest burn of this whole campaign. I really need to minimize the amount of fuel I'm going to use. All right, so there we go. That burn is done. We can delete that. Still 443 meters per second left. You can see now we're on to our next burn here. So let's check out our encounter with Eve again. Where's Eve now? Eve is now over here. And what I want is this periapsis to be as close to Eve as I dare. Now, Eve's atmosphere has a height of 90 kilometers, so as long as I'm above 90 kilometers, I am good. I am just noticing for the first time you can select the maneuvers from here, even when it's not on a maneuver to begin with. I was always trying to fight to find the maneuver and click on it, so that was a good thing to notice. Okay, so we'll turn this sensitivity way down. It's only 0.1 of a second. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. Okay, let's see if maybe just adjusting the timing a bit. 91.5 kilometers buzzing by Eve. Where is my result? There's my that red orbit's my resulting orbit. And I can see it's not reaching up to Duna. So we're going to do that. We're going to have to deal with that in one of two ways. Either one, we fly by Eve one more time to get another boost. Or way number two is we get a boost from Kerbin. Either way will work. I do want to take a look at... Yeah, I want this red orbit to be in Eve's plane. I don't like that the red orbit's coming out of... Well, it's not terrible. I think I might just live with it. Let's do this one. So, this burn is coming up in only 56 days. So let's do that one. Again, the whole plan is coming to Duna. Again, well, let's zoom in here. So I think when I just watch us go around the sun, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. So here we are here. We're just coming to the burn right there. Here we are. So this is setting up our Eve encounter. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Stop, 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 stop. Slash. Oh, what? Oh, no! Wait, wait, wait. Why'd we just blow right by the burn? I did something wrong there. Just blew right past the burn. Let's... Just by a little bit, though. So let's move this. I can fix it. I can fix this. Okay, the burn's coming up now in 38 minutes in the future. This one's not hugely time critical. Oh, now it's... Okay, but I'm probably into Eve's... Yeah. Sorry, I just got to fix this. Okay, that's good. All right, let's... Whoops. Just typed M into that. M. Let's get back to here. Okay, let's fix this up. So burn's now 33 minutes away. I notice it's only 1 second long, so we best reduce the time, the thrust limiter here. Okay, let's time warp to this again. Flipping it around. This is a prograde burn, and basically the gist of this burn. Let's go back to here so you can see what's going on. Is there we are. Is we're in the middle of all of this, just about on the burn, and we're in this blue orbit, and we're just very slightly tweaking the period of this orbit so that after we do a few more orbits, we will be encountering Eve right here. So this is a sort of a phasing type of deal, doing very slight change to the orbit, not very much. Okay, and we'll just kind of watch the burn here, and then we'll see what the situation is. Ooh, yeah, gonna be doing at least a couple of slingshots, at least a couple of gravity assists. Our first one swinging by Eve is going to be coming up pretty shortly, and then we got to decide what our next one is. We got to play this one by ear. Okay, so the burn's complete. Let's put this back onto that vector there for... I realized I typed an M in here by mistake again. Okay, back to map view. So here we are. We do have an encounter coming up. Now to see the encounter, this I think is the best way to see it coming. Add a maneuver. So on this turnaround, we're going to be missing Eve by quite a lot, but by putting a maneuver there just a little bit ahead of me and popping it ahead in orbit, you can see now we're missing again by a knot, but one of these orbits up here should be now an encounter. Come on. There it is. There's our encounter. How are we doing? Looks like we're hitting it, but you know, we'll make a bit of an adjustment. So we are entering Eve's and 2 years and 70 days. This maneuver is 1 year and 316 days away. So what I think I should do, I'm going to use alarm clock because I'm really not trusting my time warp. Oh, this Kerbin to Duna window is useless now. That's why it wasn't typing. Okay. Is I want an alarm here for when I get to this maneuver. And then we'll plan our thing. And I'm going to hit a quick save because I'm suddenly not trusting my time warping. And the last thing I want is for something to go wrong just because of a time warping mistake. So we're going to watch this from here. I'm hoping this will make sense. So we're still in this blue orbit. So let's time warp to, yeah, let's just do it this way. Don't need this maneuver anymore. Oh, moon relay has a reaction wheel failure. That's okay. And I'm at full time warp. This is going to take a long time. That's why one of the things I'm the most worried about is actually a part failure on this satellite. So you can see on this way around, we're going to miss Eve. There's Eve coming ahead of us. You know, in my mind, this is one of the sort of inherent problems that comes up in career mode that I have no idea what the solution is the fact that it takes months, if not years, to do interplanetary voyages. Yet, in career mode, the moon and Minmus are just days away. And I always sort of find that, especially if you're playing with life support mods and mods like Kerbal Construction Time, which add construction time into it, that I don't want to spend the game time it takes to go out to the planets. Not that they're particularly super difficult, but I can get everything I need just within the Kerbin system, and it's all so closer. Whenever I play my own personal careers, I always end up spending almost all of my time just flapping around Kerbin and the moon and Minmus and hardly ever get out to the planets just because of the amount of time it takes for that to happen. So, here we go. Now you can see we are going to get our Eve encounter on our next pass. So that was a lot of time warping. I set Eve again as a target. And now what I need to do is some sort of a correction here. Some sort of a correction. Hopefully I can get this to be... Yeah, I know about that. Close the alarm. So clearly what's happening here is not not what we want to do. But let's see. What happens if I push this outwards a little bit? Oh, that's the wrong way. There we go. And in fact... well, we'll play around with this and then we'll play with the timing better. Just there, 91 kilometers, so we're above Eve's atmosphere. We're coming in a little bit of an angle, and that's dealing with making it so that our trajectory ends up being roughly, very roughly in Kerbin's plane. Gosh, look how close we're coming to Moho. It is a miss though, right? Look at that. We must have gone below it or above it or something. Alright, we're stopping. Yep. Mr. Nico asks, do I have tech for a space station? The answer is no, not yet. I haven't even unlocked the Hitchhiker can, but I want to go there next. I want to get all of this interplanetary nonsense out of the way and get back to Kerbals in Kerbin's system, building space stations and bases. That's kind of where I want to go with the next phase, but I want to get all this interplanetary nonsense out of the way, especially this one. Alright, so there is our burn. That is now complete. Get rid of that. Let's take a look at how our approach to Eve is looking. Let's focus that view. How did it do? I want to be just above the atmosphere. That ain't bad. You know what? I think I'm just going to live with that. So 91.8 kilometers. And our resultant trajectory is this purple one, which I think is definitely something that's going in the right direction, reaching out towards Duna. Okay, I'm going to set up an alarm. We're going to be crossing the Eve's sphere of influence in 100 days. All right. We can, because our solar generation should be solid, we can start doing science again. Because as soon as we go into Eve, we're going to be doing some science. There should be some more stuff for us to collect. Do we have science to collect? Are we collecting anything? Yeah, we're collecting a radiation scan. We still got stuff to do. Again, our periapsis is not into the atmosphere. That's the important part. You might think I might want to tweak this down even further, but to be honest, I really don't. I want to minimize how much I'm turning this engine on and off, because every time I turn that engine on and off, there's a possibility of a failure. Oh, not a lot of science. This is telling us we did a good job. We did a little bit of a radiation scan. That was it. Eve's atmosphere is 90 kilometers high. Weatherman asks, how high is Eve's atmosphere? 90 kilometers is the answer, so I'm at 91, so we should be good. If I am wrong with that information, well, this mission is likely to end pretty quick. Okay, we're coming by Eve, going across the night side of Eve, which should be okay. We got lots of batteries. Oh, some more science just got transmitted. That's a chance for more science, and here we go past Eve. Eve's given us a friendly little boost. Little bit of boost to speed from Eve. And then we're going to be leaving saying goodbye. We might be coming back to Eve. We might not. Again, some more science just got transmitted. And then we got to think about next phase. We are now 3 years, 181 days into this mission. Okay, let's just get out of Eve's SOI here for good. All right. Still 414 meters per second left in the vehicle. And we are now in this blue orbit, which is most of the way to Duna, but not quite. So what I want to do, let's set Kerbin as a target and see if we are not going to be intersecting. Let's get rid of all the menus that are just in our way right now. I'm going to have to kind of do the same process I did before, which is to try and get, I can see I'm a little bit south here. I'm going to bring this up. Again, the same idea. I need to bring either the ascending node or the descending node to where these two orbits cross to get some sort of an idea. Okay, it looks like we're going to get an intersect out this way. Maybe. Maybe. It'd be nice if we can do it on this pass. I'm kind of curious now. Maybe just matching planes with Kerbin might facilitate this better. Let's put a maneuver right here at the descending node. What is our relative inclination? It's only 1.2. How much is it going to cost to just match planes with Kerbin? That might facilitate this. 264 meters per second to match planes with Kerbin. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to just match planes with Kerbin. And what's nice here is I can actually look. My projected inclination is 0. I think I'm just going to do this. I'm going to match planes with Kerbin, and that will facilitate the encounter, make it an easier thing. It's 264 meters per second, so a bit. Well, I can't. Somebody's asking why not set Duna as the target, but I'm not. My orbit's not high enough to reach to Duna just yet. I'm close, but not quite. Or you think maybe? You know what? Like, what am I doing? I think I understand. You know what? Let's. I might be just way overcomplicating this. I have the delta V. Oh my gosh, why not just do a straight up, add this to the orbit, and just do it? That's 406. Okay, so no, I'm not crazy. So to increase my orbit up to here is another 406 meters per second, and I only have 414 left, so I don't think I'm quite there yet. As much as I would like to be, to make just a straight out burn for Duna. But it was a good thing to check that. So I'm glad it was suggested. Now, I think what I'm going to do is make the plane change. There we go. And then we'll go for... Okay, when's this burn coming? Again, I'm going to do a quick here. This is 262 meters per second of the 414 left, and then that should facilitate an encounter. Okay, let's get to that. So that's going to be in the future. Again, I'm going to time warp quick save before every time warp. But that was a good idea, Rob. Thank you for the suggestion. Oh my goodness. Getting so many probe failures. Thanks for the suggestion of at least trying just to straight up go for Duna. Just not quite there yet. But with enough time, you can get pretty much anywhere with a surprising little amount of delta V. Okay. You can still see lots of messages of probe part failing. I'm not quite sure why we're not going to full time warp, but I don't want to force time warp it because I should be using alarm clock for this rather than, but whatever. Philippe says Rob DV is not what Rob DV Kerman is not one of your best crew for nothing. Okay, let's KOS run that X-Man script. Now 3 years, 205 days into this mission. My Kerbals are going to age out before all this is done. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go. All right. That at least now has our inclination down to 0. So that should facilitate an encounter with Kerbins.